Hi, friends, and welcome back to the Unfiltered feed. Um, Today was the first IPL match of this year, and I thought of making a quick review about or a quick analysis video about this match. Um, yeah, because it was a great way to start the IPL, and obviously, me and Ved will make our podcasts tomorrow and subsequently over the next weekends. But I just wanted to, kick off the IPL with a video covering the opener. So let's talk about the first match, which was RCB versus SRH. The match was played at Chinnaswamy. RCB obviously were the defending champions. They won the IPL last year, and SRH, although they didn't qualify last time, but they were pretty good. So this was a setup to be a very nice contest, but it didn't really turn out to be that way. So let's talk about the match. Um, so the first thing was I think RCB won the toss, and obviously they were going to bowl first because that's how things go in the IPL, at least at Chinnaswamy, where basically any total can be chased, and that's exactly what we saw. I thought that SRH wouldn't be that sad to have lost the toss because honestly, a couple of years back when they played RCB at this very ground, they were batting first and they ended up scoring 280 odd runs, which is, I mean, if you score those many runs, then you're obviously going to be ahead in the game. And then there's very low chance that a team is going to chase such a high total. So I think that was the only way SRH could have won the match. When they were batting first, I think their plans were to score as many runs as possible, but they had a new man in their way. RCB obviously missing out on Josh Hazelwood. I think he's joined the camp, but he's not fit to play for the first few weeks. So they had to go in with Jacob Duffy, who was bought in the auction. Uh, and he technically is a replacement or a backup to Josh Hazelwood. But to be honest, considering his T20 form, I think he's the better bowler right now across the world. I think he picked around 80, 85 wickets last time in the last year in all T20 internationals and leagues. But in the T20 World Cup that happened a few weeks ago, he wasn't looking in the best rhythm. So there was a bit of doubt against Jacob Duffy, but he did a great job yesterday. I think he picked 3 wickets in the power play, which was epic. And I mean, all those wickets were really important because he picked Abhishek and Travis Head, which were the two most dangerous batters SRH had. And then he also picked Nitish Reddy, who we know how good he is, and if he had gotten in along with Kishan, you never know what could have happened. So 3 wickets in the power play. He also bowled 3 overs in the power play, and then interestingly, they gave him the fourth over as well. So by the 7 overs mark, he was already done with his spell, and they decided to, take him out and brought in Devdutt Padikkal as the impact sub. So that was a nice strategy from RCB. Clearly, Jacob Duffy was looking good. He was bowling in the right areas, so they just wanted to maximize his momentum and had he gotten a fourth wicket in his last over, you never know. SRH would have basically lost all hopes right away. But that didn't happen. But anyways, Jacob Duffy did a great job. Was the man of the match in his debut, which is a great achievement. And I think this should give RCB management and the players and also the fans a lot of relief because Josh Hazelwood, as we know, has been one of RCB's biggest strength. And even last year, he was the biggest reason why they won the IPL. Um, and without him, there was a lot of uncertainty, like we also mentioned in our preview. But luckily, at least in the first match, Jacob Duffy has done a very good job, and he was as good as Josh Hazelwood could have been. And around him, the RCB bowlers also did really great. I was very happy to see Bhuvneshwar Kumar back after a long time, and he looked very good. He wasn't really out of any ideas. He was bowling to his plans, and that was really interesting to see because usually bowlers try to go for swing up front because that's the only period, maybe the first 2 or 3 overs where you get swing. But RCB didn't do that. They were super consistent with their line and length. They were always bowling towards the back of the pitch. Not really short, but it was between good length and short, which was very interesting because there was some swing to be seen, as we saw in the first over, I think, but they kept uh, away from the full length deliveries because we know that if you miss then the batters, especially Abhishek and Travis Head, they are not going to forgive you. They're going to punish you massively. So that was some absolute discipline from the RCB bowlers. And after that as well, you saw the likes of Romario Shepherd, Suyash Sharma, Krunal Pandya as well, and Abhinandan Singh, if I'm not wrong. All of them, they had a plan and they stuck to it. Obviously, in the middle overs, they got hit for a few runs because Ishan Kishan and Henrik Klase were set, and they had to eventually get the run rate going up. So there was obviously going to be some smacking. But all in all, I think they did a very good job with the bowling, um, especially picking up those early wickets. And after that, they were consolidating. And SRH never really got back on track. They were always behind the 10 runs per over mark, which is kind of the base or the par run rate in this IPL, which is quite sad. But that's how T20 cricket is right now. So good job from the RCB bowling as well, all in all. Uh, the next thing that I want to talk about is Phil Salt. I think he picked three catches, if I'm not wrong, and all three of them were absolutely important catches. I think he picked Travis Head first, which was a pull shot, and it went straight to Phil Salt, but the ball was traveling really fast, and I think it was at a very odd height. So he had to kind of squat down on the ground, and he took it with uh, the upper, the grip, which is not the traditional way of taking catches. It was great that it worked out for him. Then the second catch was, I think, Henrik Klase. That was quite a controversial moment. Personally, I felt that the boundary cushion moved when they showed from the front on angle, but I think there was not enough evidence or there was not enough substantial proof that the boundary cushions were hit, which is why they gave Henrik Klase out. But that was also a very important catch because at that point in the match, Klase and Ishan Kishan had, I think, scored about 80, 85 runs together, and they were slowly starting to up their strike rates. Had that catch not been taken, you never know. SRH could have gotten to 220, 230, and then you never know. If you lose a couple of wickets early on, RCB could have been under pressure. So that catch was very important. But then, arguably, the next catch, which was of Ishan Kishan, was even more impressive and even more important. If you can see this image, it's from that catch of Ishan Kishan. I was watching the match, and when Ishan Kishan hit that shot, I felt that it was a great shot in the gap and it was going to be a one bounce and a four. And that's what the commentators tried too. But Salt, he just went running and at the end he dived and there was absolutely no expectation that he could even reach for that catch and he ended up taking a blinder. It kind of reminded me of the AB de Villiers catch, which was also against SRH, interestingly, where it felt like it was a comfortable six. I think it was Williamson who hit that shot. And then AB out of nowhere, he just jumped and caught the ball from behind the boundary rope and managed to stay within the field. So it reminded me of that. But yeah, absolutely incredible. It could be the catch of the season already. You never know because it's going to be very tough to beat a catch like this. So great stuff from Phil Salt. Although he didn't bat that well, I think he got out for nine or something. But with the field, I think he's saved at least 50 runs for his side, which is incredible. The next thing I want to talk about is Ishan Kishan. Obviously, there was a lot of chatter around him. He's been in golden form ever since I think the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, where he led his side to their first ever win, if I'm not wrong. And since then, he's just kept scoring runs. He came into the Indian side before the World Cup, kept scoring runs there, then played the World Cup and did amazing. I think he was India's highest run scorer. So he was looking really good. And now he's also captaining SRH. So there was a bit more responsibility on him. And he played a fantastic innings. I think he scored 80 odd runs. And at one point, I was kind of sure that he would score a century because the way he was playing, he looked really good. So it took a brilliant catch from Phil Salt to get him out. But I think Ishan Kishan should be very happy. And SRH fans should be quite excited because Abhishek and Travis Head haven't yet come to party. Klase looked kind of good, but again, he could have, you never know what could have happened if that catch was not given out. And Liam Livingston also didn't play. So for SRH fans, I don't think you should lose hope yet because out of the four batting monsters that you have, only one has shown or only one has flexed his muscles. So there's a lot more to come. So yeah, great job from Ishan Kishan. I think he could be a contender for the orange cap this time. I'm not quite sure yet because even last year he started off the season brilliantly with a century and then he tapered off. So I think as SRH play more games and being the captain, I think the pressure will also keep rising on him. So it's going to be interesting to see how he deals with the pressure and his own performance. So that's about the first innings. To be honest, SRH, at a point they were about 40 or something for three in the power play, which was not the best start. Usually at Chinnaswamy, you want to be somewhere around the 60 run mark in the power play, especially when batting first. So I actually felt that getting to 200 from the position they were in was really good because at one point you had Klase and Ishan Kishan batting, and that was basically their last, I would say, not recognized, but the last dependable pair. Because after that, you had the likes of Aniket Verma, Salil Arora, I think, who haven't really played that much cricket and are primarily finishers. So you can't really rely on them to build an innings, take the innings deep and then capitalize. So it was all down to Klase and Ishan Kishan, and they not only had to not lose wickets but also score at a decent run rate, which they did. That was a positive for SRH. Yeah, getting to 200 was great, but at the same time, it was just a par score. It wasn't a par plus total at all. I think me and Ved were discussing during the mid innings break, and I told Ved that I was actually impressed that SRH got to 200, and then right away he said that yeah, but it's not at all a par score. It's slightly below par, and we saw that exactly right. RCB chased it down in 15.4 overs, which was a joke. Absolute domination from RCB. Great. So now let's move to the next big thing, which is Devdutt Padikkal. I think there was a lot of speculation at the start of the season about Venkatesh Iyer taking Devdutt Padikkal's slot in the side because both of them are quite similar, left-handed tall batters. Venkatesh also gives you a bit more bowling. So if RCB, if they didn't have a good bowling performance, they would have needed those extra overs. Luckily, they didn't. And I think after this innings from Devdutt Padikkal, I think those questions should be shut because I think this is the best I've ever seen Devdutt Padikkal bat. He was in RCB back in 2021, where he also looked quite good. And I remember his century at the Wankhede Stadium. But back then he was quite slow and he used to take his time. He wasn't as explosive. But yesterday was a completely different version of him. It looks like he's done a lot of work on his shot making because he was hitting all around the ground and he was hitting consistently. I mean, obviously, there's um, a bit of that goes down to the pitch being quite nice to bat on, plus the inexperience and the lack of quality in the Hyderabad bowling attack. But at the end, you're still chasing 200, and you have to still, keep scoring runs every single over, which Padikkal did. And along with Kohli, that partnership of 100 runs, I think, completely sealed the game for RCB. And they did that at a great run rate as well. They were always ahead of the ball game. I think by the 50 ball mark, when 50 balls were left, RCB had already reduced the difference between the runs and balls to about zero, which showed how dominant they were. While chasing 200, if you're doing it in 15 overs, that's absolutely incredible. Padikkal, great job from him. They should give him a lot of confidence as well because this batting order, other than him, is also looking very stacked and in form. So if you add Padikkal as well now, who's looking good, I think this is a really good batting order. So RCB, you should be very happy. And finally, you have to talk about King Kohli. Um, to be honest, it didn't even feel like Kohli wasn't playing T20 cricket for the last year because the last T20 innings that he's played competitively was the IPL final last year. And it didn't even feel like he's been off because the way he came out all guns blazing. He was on the back foot because you had Salt and Padikkal going off in the power play. But Kohli always had a strike rate of about 150 or over. So it wasn't like he was very slow or he was, wasting balls. It always was either strike rotation or hitting a few boundaries here and there. And then once the chase became comfortable, Kohli started to flex his muscles. I think I remember the last over where Harshal Patel was bowling. He smashed him for I think two sixes or three or one sixes and three fours. and finish the game quickly. Absolute brilliance from Kohli again. This was his 64th 50 in the IPL, which is unthinkable. And to me, he still looks as good as his prime, which is incredible. I can't believe this. Usually you would see players, even the best players, starting to drop off a little, but Kohli, he's just getting better and better. Like, I can't I can't explain how this happens. So superb stuff from Kohli. I think Ved predicted him for the orange cap this year, and the way he started, that very well could be a possibility. So all eyes on Kohli. Great job. And finally, I want to talk about the overall result. Yes, RCB won the match brilliantly. I think the net run rate must be skyrocketed already after this match. Let me check it. Yeah, it's about 2.907. So it's a great win, obviously. But at the same time, should we get carried away? I don't think so because RCB were good. Yes, they did great, but I feel SRH were not up to the mark. It's the first match of the season. The team is still quite new. The players haven't really played much together, so it's going to take some time for them to find their best form. And I think that's what happened because if you looked at Abhishek and Travis Head, they didn't really look comfortable at all. They were trying to slog from ball one, and they just couldn't middle even once. I think Abhishek got a couple of boundaries, if I'm not wrong, but it didn't really look that comfortable. And Travis had as well. He was missing quite a few balls, got a nick that almost could have hit the stumps. But other than that, they didn't look as comfortable. Um, and then once they lost those 3 wickets, they were always behind. So RCB should be very happy with the performance that they've delivered, but at the same time, you also got to say that SRH wasn't the best side that they're going to play in this IPL, right? So to me, my prediction for RCB not finishing in the top two, I think it's still very early to kind of go back on it. I think the next few games that RCB are going to play will be more representative because the next 3 games that they play are against Chennai, Rajasthan, and Mumbai Indians, which should be very interesting because CSK is looking quite strong. RR has a one of the best batting lineups of this year, and MI is a title contender. So the next 3 games are going to be very interesting for RCB. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say for this match. I don't think you can. Obviously, we are not going to make videos for every single match that happens, but I just wanted to make this one video for the season opener just to kickstart the IPL because I have personally been waiting for the IPL for several months. As you all probably know by now, I'm more of an IPL fan than international cricket nowadays because of a lot of reasons. So yeah, I'm very happy that the IPL has begun. For me personally, it starts today because Mumbai Indians are going to kick off their campaign versus Kolkata Knight Riders. And as much as I know that MI is a title contender, I'm not really hopeful of them winning because of a certain curse that MI is plagued with. They haven't won their opening match since 2012, which is absolutely mind-boggling. That's about 15 years now. That's crazy. They've won 5 titles, but they cannot win their first match, which is quite funny. Although I feel the likelihood of them winning this time is the highest because KKR also is, just like SRH, are very, very down on their bowling. So you never know what can happen. But Mumbai have found ways to lose their first match from any position. So I'm not really having any expectations. But yeah, so this was my video on RCB versus SRH. I think later today, myself and Ved, we will come back with a podcast and cover this first match. Ved will share his thoughts and of course the MI versus KKR match as well. So look out for that video. And I think in between you'll also see a TUF1 video because the Japanese Grand Prix is going to start very soon. So I'm keen to watch that as well. So a lot of content coming and the IPL has just begun. So the next 2 months is going to be quite a blast. And in terms of content as well, you can expect a lot. So yeah, those were my thoughts rather. So thank you for watching this video. Share your comments and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
स्टेडियम में शोर है एनर्जी ऑन द फ्लोर है दिस इज द अनफिल्टर्ड फीड